Good evening. In the news tonight, property reassessment continues in Knox County, and some property owners are noticing a change in taxes. The Supreme Court begins a new term today, one that might be remembered for quite some time. And in sports, a large homecoming crowd left Inman Field disappointed as Washington beat the Vincennes Lincoln. News Center 22 starts right now.
Local news, weather, and sports. Produced through the combined efforts of the students, staff, and faculty of Vincennes University's electronic media program, this is News Center 22.
The process of reassessing properties in Knox County continues. Good evening. For News Center 22, I'm Evan Nunn. The Knox County Commissioners received an update on the reassessment effort at their meeting this morning. The county started from scratch earlier this year in physically inspecting all residential and commercial properties in order to get an accurate picture of property tax values. Jenny Whipple is contract representative for the company conducting the reassessment for the county. She and the county assessor, Kathy Lane, addressed the commissioners today saying there have been a few complaints concerning the change in tax bills. Whipple says with this process, more properties are being assessed at a higher value, which means a higher tax bill. But Whipple stresses that county properties are now being assessed correctly, which is the sole purpose of the reassessment. Whipple says anyone with questions about the reassessment can contact the assessor's office at 885-2513. The VU Board of Trustees today authorized the sale of $5.8 million in bonds to help pay for renovations made to Davis Hall and the PE complex. Vice President for Financial Services Phil Roth says the bond authorization will have to be approved by the Indiana Financing Authority, or the university may opt to pay for the project by working through one of the local banks. Remodeling began 14 months ago and included construction of the new aquatic center located between the PE complex and VU Rec Center. Roth reported that the university will open bids for the construction of the new Center for Advanced Manufacturing on the VU Jasper campus October 12th. A tentative date has been set for a groundbreaking ceremony October 20th. However, VU President Dick Helton says that date may have to be pushed back. In other business, the board elected J.R. Gaylor to another term as chairman of the Board of Trustees. An Indiana University freshman died in an apartment fire near campus earlier Saturday morning. A few others were hurt as firefighters rushed to wake up and evacuate the residents. Brandon Klein has more.
Terrifying moments for IU students in the middle of the night after flames broke out at these apartments and moved quickly through the building.
I just came out and there's just flames coming out of the building. They're pretty high. It's like, I don't know, 30 feet or something. It's pretty crazy.
19-year-old IU student Renee Orn from Gary, Indiana, was killed. She lived in Eigenman Hall, but was spending the night with friends at their apartment. IU student Callie Johnson was asleep when firefighters broke down her door.
All I heard was, is anybody in here? Get out. And so that was like, okay, this is something serious.
Students say the massive fire caused a lot of confusion at 3:30 in the morning.
I started running. Didn't know what was going on. I had my cell phone in my hand and I just started running. And then once I got outside, I saw the flames.
Nick Randall was at his friend's apartment when he was told his place was on fire.
I was just kind of shocked when I came outside to see how quickly it had gone.
Managers at the Terra Trace apartments say they're trying to find residents housing in other buildings.
I'm from Martinsville, so I had a lot of stuff still at home, but I mean, everything that I have here was in there. So.
Right now, firefighters say they don't know the cause. The fire remains under investigation.
Grief counselors are going to be on the Indiana University campus to help students deal with the death. Thanks to area gardeners sharing their produce, students in the Vincennes University hospitality program recently helped out those in need. Gardeners in Knox and Pike counties donated 8 5-gallon buckets of zucchini and yellow squash and an additional 5-gallon bucket of tomatoes that were then prepared by VU students and sealed for freezing. Chef Jeffrey Hume, instructor in the VU Department of Hospitality, says students learn knife and vegetable processing skills while at the same time helping people in need enjoy fresh produce. Hume appealed for the donated produce with an offer to return the processed produce to donors. But all those who donated said to put the produce to good use instead, prompting Hume to give the processed produce to an area church which sponsors a feeding program. Citing the need to bring Hoosier common sense to Washington, small businessman and farmer Patrick Skates today announced he will seek the Democratic nomination for Indiana's 8th congressional district. Skates stated in a press release that at a time when Hoosiers are struggling to find work, businesses are cutting back or closing their doors altogether, and the American dream is slipping away for so many, Congress has become completely ineffective. Skates added if elected, he would bring an independent, common sense approach to put people back to work, get the nation's fiscal house in order, and stand up for Hoosier seniors and middle-class families. Skates served as an advisor in the U.S. Senate for then Senator Barack Obama, eventually becoming a senior aide to Congressman Brad Ellsworth, where he focused on farm policy, rural development, and small business growth. He resides in Evansville and currently works as a sales executive for design and management consulting firm R.W. Armstrong. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Public service organizations, medical groups, and charities are all working together to promote awareness, but some are also collecting donations for research and services. Does pink necessarily mean an organization is legitimate? Dr. Tim Seiler is director of IUPUI's fundraising school at the Center of Philanthropy. Seiler says that most reputable organizations produce annual reports that spell out their budgets that include donations and how they spend them. Seiler says GuideStar is also a valuable resource. GuideStar is a watchdog group that monitors the activities and budgets of not-for-profit agencies. In addition, while October is recognized as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the nbcam.org website is a year-round resource for breast cancer patients, survivors, caregivers, and the general public. Still to come on News Center 22, the United States Supreme Court has begun a new term today. We'll preview some of the important issues up for debate, and a new study is supporting earlier screening for colon cancer in men. We'll explain why when we come back. Stay with us.
Next time on Nature. From Papua New Guinea and the Jordanian desert to England's rugged hills and the Arctic Circle, one animal made an indelible mark.
Without them, we would have never survived. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
These amazing creatures followed us, understood us, and we made them our own. Now, science takes us to where the story began and asks, is there a motherland for dogs that changed the world?
Coming up this week on WVUT's 22 Magazine. Fall has finally arrived, and with it comes many events and opportunities for you to take advantage of. We'll find out what the Knox County Chamber of Commerce is working on. And then, open enrollment for Medicare is just around the corner. But do you need help in signing up or even understanding the process? Generations is ready to help. Find out how on the next 22 Magazine, Saturday night at 7:30 on WVUT.
The U.S. Supreme Court begins its new term today. A major case the justices are expected to review, a legal challenge to President Obama's health care reform law. Athena Jones has more on that and the other issues the High Court may take up.
Monday kicks off a new term for the Supreme Court, and health care tops the list of big issues the 9 justices could take on. The Obama administration has asked the nation's highest court to rule on the constitutionality of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, the health care overhaul signed into law last year. Lawsuits brought by 28 states and dozens of individuals and groups have challenged the federal government's right to require people to purchase health insurance, the key provision in the law. Analysts say the court will almost certainly address this hot-button issue this term, with a decision coming just months before the presidential election.
The law itself is obviously really important, whether you like it or not. It has tremendous consequences for President Obama's re-election because it's a signature achievement.
The politics of health care aside, this is a central issue. This could change the way the government and the people interact, going forward in our country.
Among cases already on the court's docket, an electronic surveillance case that asks whether police can attach a GPS tracker to a suspect's car without a warrant. The central question? Do motorists have any right to privacy on public roads? Another about whether prisons can subject people arrested even for minor offenses to suspicionless strip searches. and a case about whether the Federal Communications Commission's indecency rules violate broadcast networks' free speech rights.
It seems inevitable this term that they're going to have to decide what the free speech rights of broadcasters are to put profanity and some nudity on the air.
Other politically charged issues that could come up include immigration, gay marriage, affirmative action, and abortion.
The Supreme Court term so far is shaping up to be pretty interesting, but it could become absolutely explosive and enthralling. It could be the most interesting one in a century.
Now, one important point to make here. The U.S. Supreme Court only takes on about 1 out of 10 of the cases it is petitioned to review, and the justices haven't decided yet whether to tackle the health care overhaul. Inspections of the Washington Monument resumed today. They had to be stopped Friday after strong wind gusts blew one of the roped-in workers off the monument and moved him 30 feet away. The National Park Service says he wasn't hurt. Inspectors are assessing the outside of the monument following damage from that 5.8 magnitude earthquake back in August. The Park Service says crews already checked out the inside of the monument and found the building is structurally sound. Housing giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are cutting their donations to charities even further. This coming from the Washington Post, which cites a report from George Mason University's Center for Regional Analysis. The Post reports the two federal housing financial giants gave nearly $100 million to 500 charities in the past 4 years. But the new George Mason University report says the two will likely never spend that much again. It even says Fannie and Freddie could soon get orders from federal officials to stop donating money altogether. Pain at the pump is a little more bearable. AAA says the national average for a gallon of gas has dropped to $3.41. That marks the 23rd consecutive drop. Prices have fallen more than 23 cents during that time. Here in Vincennes, gas is available at many local gas stations for around $3.28 a gallon. A new study out in Austria is making the case for earlier colon cancer screening for men. Researchers with the Medical University of Vienna say their study found tumors tend to develop more often and earlier in men than women. The study looked at the screening results of 44,350 people over a 4-year period. It found men were almost twice as likely as women to have abnormal growths. A U.S. expert says the findings are interesting, but he says it's too soon to change the guidelines and start urging people to get screened before they turn 50. The battle for holiday gadget supremacy is already underway. Between Amazon's tablet and an Apple iPhone announcement next week, will these two tech giants top gadget wish lists, or are other surprises in store? Karen Kafa has this week's Clicked In.
100,000 movies and TV shows, 17 million songs.
No coincidence here, Amazon unveiled its entry into the tablet market with a release date just in time for holiday shopping.
It'll come out on November 15th. That's right when the holiday season is ramping up, a couple of weeks ahead of Black Friday.
Let the holiday gadget wars begin. The Kindle Fire will be a simpler, smaller competitor to Apple's iPad, currently tops among tablets.
This is going to appeal to a different audience. Someone that said, maybe I don't need all the features of the iPad. It's attractive, but I don't need everything, or maybe I can't afford it.
The price tag on Amazon's tablet, $199, less than half the iPad's starting price.
This is very aggressive price from Amazon, and I can't imagine other manufacturers aren't looking at cutting the prices of some of their devices to be more competitive.
Amazon's announcement came just days before another big event on the tech calendar, an announcement by Apple on Tuesday, October 4th, that's expected to reveal the latest iPhone. But before you put those items at the top of your holiday wish list, remember the season for new gadgets is just getting started, and more big things could be on the way.
It certainly is getting busy, and there's going to be a lot of new stuff hitting the market over the next month or month and a half.
I'm Karen Kafa, and you're now Clicked In.
I know many people had to turn their furnaces on at night over the weekend to fight the chill in the air. But are cooler temperatures going to be hanging around this week? Ethan Quarterman joins us now to let us know. Ethan?
Well, Evan, the next few days, next few evenings, will lows in the 40s for the next few nights. So don't count that furnace out just yet. But it looks like we could see 80 degrees for a high by Friday. I'll have your complete forecast right after this. Stick around.